Are we high-fiving for the other thing, too?
Yes. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing today? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And today we're going to talk about On the Road Again.
We wanted to do a kind of reflection / reaction to being back on tour. We just got back from our first official away convention for Noise Complaint. If you haven't heard of Noise Complaint, it is a tap dance theater company that I own, I guess. We're both dancers in it. I'm the artistic director, and he's also the photographer and videographer. And we'll get to what happens when we do a show. And this is only for the people that don't know us yet, that just stumbled upon this channel.
Hello, welcome.
All of our friends, you're like, yeah, we know.
We know who you are.
Yeah. But anyway, so 2020, we didn't really have any shows. I think we got 2 shows in, and then everything got canceled. And starting back in May, as we film this, it's July. And starting back in May, we started to go back and do live shows again for the first time. Just local stuff. We didn't really go very far. In June, we ventured out for a day trip to Tallahassee, which is about 2.5 hours away from where we are. But we still hadn't done like an away convention, meaning the whole company gets in the van and we go to a hotel and we stay the whole weekend. We do 2 or 3 shows, couple of panels. We just got back from the first one since 2020. So
Since February?
Since March. The
March
first
2020.
weekend of March was our last away convention, our last convention, until Infinity Con, which was in June. We just got back from MetroCon, which is in Tampa. It's one of our favorite conventions. Before I forget, shout out to the tech crew and sound guys, because y'all are the best.
They're absolutely amazing. They're like very quick to, what do you need? What can we do for you? And it's like...
And they really enjoy our show, which I think is like the best part. So thank you guys. But it's not like they're going to see this video probably anyway. But I just thought I would say that. So we wanted to kind of reflect on the experience from like being in the company, but also like personally, because as many of you guys know, I'm dealing with contamination OCD. And so going to a hotel, that was an experience. And also just trying to protect my people in a pandemic. The minute we leave, I am responsible for everyone. And the level of stress that I feel to protect everyone is immense. I guess we'll just start with that part. We had 7 or 8 of us go. We had 8. We had 8 of us go. The hotel room was like 4 people and 4 people. And it was hard to like even say, okay, we're going to go to a hotel, because we don't all live together. So I was like, oh, what happens if we're in the hotel room and we're not masked? And what if, and all these what if scenarios are coming into play. And you're just like, at some point you have to just let go and say, we have to do the show, so I'm gonna have to get over it. So we got to the hotel and everyone got to their rooms. We loaded in just as we used to do a 1.5 years ago.
We didn't miss a beat.
We didn't miss a beat. It felt pretty normal. Minus the fact that I had to like remind everybody, don't forget your mask. Like, I'm not used to that, so I was like, it's usually, hey, don't forget your tap shoes and your pass. Now it's don't forget tap shoes, pass, and mask. And Noise Complaint has a rule, regardless of, at the time, the CDC was like, oh, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. Noise Complaint's rule is, vaccinated or not, at a convention, you wear a mask. Yeah. It has to do with protecting the people around us, but also PR. So we all had to wear masks. We loaded in. We did our first show that night.
Yeah.
And that show, we actually had like a fairly good audience. It was pretty big. Yeah. It was over 100 people for a Friday night. That was crazy. And then my favorite thing happened in the show. I'm like skipping around. I'm sorry. He was Ted Theodore Logan from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and he would do like the guitar, and the audience went
every time.
And it started with our friend Alejandro. He started it, and then like the other people in the audience picked up on it. So every time he did that, it was like, it was amazing.
Which you even carried on to other shows throughout the weekend. I went like this, and someone was like, I was like, oh. That's not the character. That's not the
but you stayed in that character the whole weekend. You accidentally stayed in like the dumb character. We actually had some new characters to play, so it was a learning curve. I had to go from a 5-year-old superhero to a 20-something-year-old spy, I guess. I went from Bubbles from Powerpuff Girls to Natalie from Charlie's Angels. And it was really hard to make the jump, especially since most of the lines were the same, so I had to just play it from a different perspective, and that was really hard. But it was really amazing to be back on stage in front of a live audience and have people to talk to us instead of just type to us if we're like streaming or something. It was amazing.
Yeah. I went, like you went from Bubbles to Natalie. I went from a 90s surfer dude turtle to a 90s surfer dude high school kid.
Yeah, I mean, for you it was kind of easy, but you didn't have as many lines as Mikey.
Yeah.
In fact, you didn't have any lines as Mikey except, "Hey, want to go out?" That was like your only line.
And then, "Can we order pizza?"
Yeah, that literally you had no other lines. Hard things for me were getting over touching things. I had to hold the mic. I had no choice but to hold the mic. I also had to hand my computer and my phone to other people and not freak out about it. And I think when it comes down to it, the moment that you have to just step up and do it, you do it. I didn't miss a beat. I didn't have an issue. After the show, I may have cried a little, but I didn't during the show. I was fine. I said, no, I have to do this. So I just did it. It was that simple. I don't know if it's always going to be that simple, but at least this first time out, you know, the weight of the company is kind of on me. As the director, as the choreographer, as the lead dancer, it's kind of on me. And if I falter, the whole thing could come apart. But yeah.
It was different, but one good thing is that Noise Complaint was amazing.
Dude, Noise Complaint is full of rock stars. That's just
They were very big on, you know, is it okay if I grab this? Is
they
it
were
okay
very
if I
big
do this?
on,
because they knew they wanted to make sure that everyone was safe and happy and everything was good.
They were really good about accommodating me. And that's why I wanted to work so hard to be as good as I could for them, because I knew that they were accommodating me. In the hotel room, I had very, very strict rules. When we got there, I said, I need to pick which bed is mine, because I need to, like, assess where it is and where the air conditioning is. And I'm weird, okay? So I said, once I pick the bed, no one else is allowed to touch that bed. That will be my clean space. That will be my space. Except for, obviously, he can touch the bed. I mean, duh. But I had the rules of, like, everyone has their own area and no one else is allowed to put any of their stuff in your area. Like, you contain all of your stuff. It kept the hotel room really clean, though, so that was great.
Is a huge change for Noise
Yes,
Complaint.
we are usually very messy because we just start looking for a costume and throwing our stuff everywhere, and that's not allowed in my room because I need my stuff, like, very contained so that no cross-contamination and stuff. I tried to rely less on Lysol wipes, and that went okay. But the other rules in the hotel room were you weren't allowed to bring your shoes in. Like, you had to leave your shoes at the door. Not in front of the door, like, where people could steal them, but, like, at the door.
You open it, you take them off, and then you come in.
Yeah, you leave them right by the entrance. And the company was really good about that. And when they forgot, Henry forgot for a second, and he actually went and Lysoled the floor where he stepped, which I thought was really, really sweet. I don't know that there was anything else. I had to shower, which is good. Hygiene is good, guys. But I had to shower the minute I got back to the hotel after a show. That was a thing. I never had to do that before. I didn't mind staying kind of sweaty, but, like, this time I was like, I need a shower. I also had a rat's nest that had more hair in it than he has on his entire head, so that was the other reason I had to shower.
It was huge.
So yeah, bad times, guys.
Side note, rewind a little bit. Going there, hanging out in the van with Noise Complaint.
It felt amazing.
Playing music, everybody singing along. All of that was just, I missed it so much.
I missed it. Every time I got in the van during 2020, I kind of just, like, looked in the back and kind of cried. Because I was like, I miss my family. Like, Noise Complaint is my family and Rhythm Theory is my family. And to not have them with me all the time. we were so used to being with each other every single weekend, like up in each other's faces every single weekend, in the van, in the hotel room, on stage, like.
You were just there.
Yeah, like, case in point, now that we're back and on the road, we've hit the ground running. Because, let's see, last week we had a show in Jacksonville that was like a pre-show show. You know, it was a little show before we got on the road. A couple days ago, we were at MetroCon. And then we got back from MetroCon on Sunday. We had Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. And in those 3 days, I've done prep work for the show. We washed all of our stuff. We repacked all of our stuff. We just finished packing everything today. And we're leaving tomorrow for Raleigh. I just finished seeing everybody on Sunday, and now I'm going to see them again tomorrow until Monday. We're in Raleigh till Monday. Then we have a week off, where in that week off I have a show with Rhythm Theory. So 4 of us will still get to see each other and have a show. But it's in town, so it's not like crazy. And then the week after that, we're at MegaCon. So it's like, and that's what we were used to. So in 2020, to not have that was...
It was
depressing.
It was like someone slammed on the brakes in our life. And for those of you that don't know, Noise Complaint did about 26 different conventions on average year.
Or events. Conventions or events. Every year. So we were gone every other weekend. Now, it wasn't always just like week on, week off. Sometimes it was 6 weeks in a row, and then we'd have 3 weeks off, you know? It was like every other weekend, though. 26 weekends were taken up. Sometimes, maybe not 26 weekends, because sometimes the events were on the same weekend. Like one event on a Friday and a different event on a Sunday. But, yeah. We did 51 shows in 2019. That's a lot of shows.
Yeah. There's some dance companies out there that do 1, maybe 2 a year.
We did 51 in a year. 51 full-length shows. It's crazy. I only did 50. I didn't do 51. I missed the last show of 2019 because I was in another show. I was in the Nutcracker, so I had to miss the Noise Complaints last show of 2019. But, oh well. I would have rather been at Noise Complaints show, honestly.
And then, so we got there. You were talking about how it was like and handling, you know, the situations in the room and stuff. One of the big things, and I agree with this, not even with COVID, don't put your stuff on other things that people sit on.
Yeah, I had this other rule of like, please do not put any stuff on any sitting apparatus. Like, don't put it on a chair, a couch, or a bed. No stuff goes on that because I want to be able to sit there and feel clean, you know? I tried not to go overboard because I tried to feel as normal as I could. When I first was going to do this, I was like, I'm going to Lysol the whole hotel room. And then I thought, this time, let's just trust it. And I didn't Lysol the hotel room. But I also became very hyper aware of how dirty hotel rooms are while I was there this weekend. And oh my God, the carpet was so stained. And it was just, I started seeing things I'd never seen before. And I was like, I should have Lysoled the hotel. But this weekend, that'll change. But we're staying at a nicer hotel this time. We're staying at like a Marriott or something.
Fancy.
Well, we were at the embassy, so it wasn't that bad. It was an older hotel. So, but hotels are hotels. Your level of trust is your level of trust. And I thought my level of trust was going to be 0, but I decided I'm going to give it a try, even though my anxiety was through the roof.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then we had our shows. We went to the vendor hall. We spent way too much money. But I was really happy to support the vendors because this is how they pay their bills, and they haven't gotten to do that in like a year. So
and it was really nice. We got to see some of our old vendor friends.
Yeah, and we're gonna see one of them this weekend.
Yeah,
because they're also gonna be at Raleigh with us, which is so cool. It'll be interesting to see how each con does things and how we handle being in different cities. Tampa was pretty typical, and we didn't really venture very far outside, but this weekend we'll be at Raleigh, so like we're gonna venture a little farther away because it's a city we're not usually in, and for some of them they may never have been there. There's a cute little soda store next to a coffee shop that we want to go to, so we're gonna venture a little further away. It's gonna be interesting to see how the company handles that in this era. And the whole CDC saying that we need to be wearing masks inside again and that kind of thing. it's these are the things I have to worry about because I'm in charge, you know? So...
Yeah, she's constantly just on the lookout of what's going on, what's changing and everything, just to make sure
always
she's keeping everybody safe.
Yeah, I'm always watching the news to make sure that I'm up to speed with, like, all of the different changes, and I've been very, very careful to make sure that noise complaint is in compliance with what is recommended. Mm-hmm. Not just because I think it's the smartest thing to do, but because liability-wise, you can't fault it.
Yeah.
You can't fault, well, she was following CDC recommended guidelines. Mm-hmm. If I wasn't, you could absolutely fault me. But because I'm following the recommended guidelines, you can't.
Yeah.
So.
And she also is very big on looking at all the places that we're going to see what their, like, requirements are of that city, to make sure that we aren't violating something or, you know, something like that.
Yeah, like noise complaint was, we've been thinking about taking our masks off while performing because, you know, pretty much everyone's vaccinated. So I'm just like, all right, we can take our masks off to perform, but at the convention, we'll take the masks off. I needed to make sure with the convention center that was going to be allowed. We decided not to take our masks off for the next couple of conventions simply because of the new CDC recommendations, and we've been performing in a mask anyway, so why not just do a couple more shows in it?
Our cardio is like... Pew.
Yeah, no sweat off our backs to do it again, so we might as well follow the regulations and set the example. That's the other thing that I think I'm really big on personally, is setting an example. Mm-hmm. And being back on tour is giving us the opportunity to do that. I'm sorry, I've been kind of all over the place with this conversation, and it's because I'm so stressed out. Mm-hmm. It's fine. I don't know what else to say about this past weekend.
How did it feel to be performing?
As good as it ever had.
Yep.
It's just...
The moment we hit that stage, it was like 2020 didn't happen. It was just normal. It
felt like we didn't miss any time. Mm-hmm. It was really, really amazing. I'm so proud of my dancers. I'm so proud. I was really hoping people would come to the panel so I could tell them how proud I was of my dancers. Because let me just tell you guys what I wanted to say. These dancers learned things. They learned full-length dances over Zoom, which is really difficult for tap, okay? There's a 2-count delay on Zoom. So they had to learn dances over Zoom and via video, and that is very difficult. But they did it. And they practiced and practiced and practiced for over a year with no end in sight of this lockdown or not being able to perform. No one quit. No one said, you know what, if we're not going to be able to perform, I'm out. I don't want to work hard for nothing. Mm-hmm. No one said that because they all had faith that we would be back on stage again. And they all worked really, really hard to make sure that we were ready when the time came. Mm-hmm. And we were.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I'm so proud. I just can't explain.
It was really cool to see. It was really cool to be back on stage with the Noise Complaint family, just dancing and just having fun. Like I said, from the hotel room, just goofing around, to, you know, driving there and back and having fun in the van and everything. Or
as watching, you can see, I'm exhausted from the weekend.
One of the greatest things that we've seen with Noise Complaint over the... How many years have you been doing Noise Complaint now?
8 years.
I think I've been around for like 6. Yeah, about 6. We've seen a lot of people that are coming into the con world that have never really gone or not gone as much. And then they buy 2 Kigus.
Yeah, watching the con newbies experience the vendor rooms for the first time.
Because I remember doing that. I bought like everything.
Everything. Because you think you're never going to see that vendor again. And we try to tell the new people, like, hey, you don't have to spend all your money at once. You're going to see these vendors again. Every single one of these vendors is going to be at the next convention or the next one after that, especially the Tampa and Orlando. The ones that are at Mega... or the ones that were at Metro are probably going to be at Mega. So do not fret. Don't spend all your money. But sometimes you just can't. I mean, we ended up spending a decent amount of money because we saw things we've never seen before and couldn't trust that we would ever see them again. Not the vendor, but the items. They're very rare items. So we ended up splurging a little.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We didn't spend any money at cons for a year and a half. We can allow that.
Yeah. But it's just really, it's really fun because I remember being like my first couple like real conventions, and I'm like, I need this, I need this, I need this.
And you don't realize that you're going to see those vendors again. It's fine. And you also don't realize you don't have that much wall space for the amount of art you want to buy.
Oh, yeah. I bought
really
so much art when I first started going to conventions.
I had to take...
I'm not going to lie, I even bought art this week.
Yeah, we did, but we couldn't help it. I had to take a lot of the art that we had on the walls and put them in a book. I had so much. Because I was like, I just don't have the wall space, and I want to change out what I've got. I love what we have right now, by the way, but... We should probably do a house tour at some point.
You go and you see these artists and you get to know them and you're like, well, I want to support my new friend. So you buy something. And then you're like, okay, that's up in my house. And then you're like, I need more. And then you're like, after a while, like you said, you have a whole book full of art. And you're just like...
You look at sometimes. It's our coffee table book. But I'm really loving this. Am I nervous? Yes. Am I nervous moving forward? Yes. As coronavirus cases spike and we keep venturing out into the world, yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared for my dancers. I'm scared for us. But literally the show must go on because the contracts are signed. So unless something dire happens, we are contractually obligated to do these shows, and we will do these shows. We will just do them as safely as we can. Even though half the group, I am sure, is so sick of my extra rules and my everything. I'm like such a stickler for these rules because I'm like, no, you can't take your mask off for photos. And I'm sure some of the dancers were like, but like, why? If it's just for a second. At a con, you can't take your mask off for photos because then I don't get to tell the next convention if they ask, were you guys careful at the last con? I don't get to say the sentence, yes, none of us had our masks off while we were at the convention. I don't get to say that if somebody takes their mask off for a picture. Taking it off to eat or drink is one thing, but like taking it off for a picture, there's now evidence on the internet that you were at the con without a mask. I don't get to say that sentence and reassure the next convention that we're not bringing COVID there. Yeah. You know? So I'm sure that they're so sick of my rules, but these rules will help keep us on the road and keep us being able to perform. So I'm sorry about the really roller coaster conversation this ended up being, but I'm very stressed out.
As one of the dancers, I'm very appreciative of the rules.
I'm glad.
Because I like to know that the person that I'm there with, like the company, is doing everything that they can to protect me and protect each other and to protect those who are around us. And those rules that you set aren't outlandish. It's just, hey, wear your mask while you're in the, convention. I
really only ask a few things unless you're in the hotel room with me. Then I ask a lot of things, but that's really just because I don't want to have an anxiety attack.
You really don't ask that much, honestly. Like, you ask us not to put stuff on stuff. You just want to make sure that you pick which bed you wanted first.
No sharing towels?
Well, no one shares towels anyways. That's weird.
The hand towels.
Oh, well, we try not to do that anyways. But yeah, and then shoes off. I was raised to take your shoes off at the door anyways, so... But yeah, so your rules aren't crazy.
I hope not. I'm doing my best, and I did really well this weekend. If I can just like pat myself on the back there, I did really well this weekend for all of the things that I go through. I opened doors with my bare hands, and that's a big step for me. And I held microphones. I used microphones. I put a microphone close to my mouth. Like, that's different. I mean, I had a mask on, but yeah.
You did awesome.
Let's see how I do this weekend.
We're going to crush it.
I hope so. This is, it's GalaxyCon. It's one of our other favorites, and I can't wait to see the staff. We're like family.
I do have one thing to say about this coming weekend, though. Do you know what's going to be the most tiring out of all this?
The Disney sing-alongs.
Yes.
They are so tiring.
And we always have them early, and then like a couple hours later, it's our show. Mm-hmm. And it's like, after the Disney sing-along, it's like, can I have a nap? Do I get a nap? Because we put our heart into it. We're like, go, go.
Well, if you enjoyed this recap and reflect, let us know, and we'll do one after the weekend that we're about to have. It's our first out-of-state con. It's our first time being out of state, I think.
in this.
Since 2020?
Yeah.
We haven't been out of state? Mm-mm. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow. Okay, we might do a reflect and
recap. Actually, since 2019, because 2020 we went to
yeah, you're right.
Lake
we haven't
City,
been out
and
of
then we
state
went to
since
Pensacola.
2019.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let us know if you'd like us to do more of these. Sorry about the roller coaster of the way I talked about it, but next time it'll be way less stressful because hopefully I won't be filming it the night before we leave for the next one. So,
yeah.
But anyway, thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. It's the most random channel on YouTube, and that's why you like it. I promise.
Yeah,
so subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and yeah, I had a lot of fun.
I did too. It's really cool to recap and just think about just how much fun it was. And
wish us luck at our next show. No matter when you're watching this, trust me, we have a show this weekend, I'm sure.
I'm sure no matter when it is, there's one coming up.
I guarantee
that
there's some show. Yeah.
But thanks so much for hanging out with us. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jen.
And we're out of here. Bye, guys.